Alright, Laif. I haven't done a VOD review for you in like a hot minute, so I'm doing one today over our last game because I feel like it would be very good for you to see the sorts of mistakes that I am seeing and why they're so detrimental to our success. Before this begins, I'm going to preface this. Not, I'm here to help. I like you, Laif. It's gonna come off as really rude and really like you are horrible and this is why we're losing, but that's how it's supposed to come off. It's supposed to be for you and what you can do to fix these certain situations. There's stuff that everyone can do in these certain situations. This is specifically for you and the stuff that you could do and the stuff that made our team lose fights because of you as far as you're concerned, if that makes sense. I don't want, you know, I don't want you to be sad. I want you to be learning from this. You hit your forehead, but it's okay. Had the right idea. So you end up playing this really badly, and I'll explain why. You see this? Oh, let me pull my epic pen here. If I can flip in. There we go. Come on. There we go. So you see this right here? This is what you want to be playing around. Okay, this giant pillar, because it gives you cover and it makes McCree shoot up. He doesn't want to shoot up. He wants to shoot at a distance. If he can shoot at a distance, then his shots are hit scan. Because his shots going to you are hit scan, and yours going to him are projectiles. So he can dodge yours, you can't dodge his. So he can sit there all day, and it's the perfect range for him to where he doesn't have fall off, and he can just aim at you without any issues. If you were to play this pillar right here, then he would have to look up at you and also wait for you to peek around the pillar. Because you can just go back and forth and skirt this pillar over and over again while shooting rockets at the same time. Oh. Whoops. But instead you play in his like perfect little range where he wants you to play. And this goes on for like an hour. He will always win this fight. It's the perfect range for him. I will say though, you are playing cover much better than you used to, which I very much appreciate. However, your positioning still gets you killed. Put an I. Nope. Capital I. There you go. Do you know what I mean? Perfect range. Speed it up a little bit.
Our world is worth fighting for.
Here we go, May. Okay, so as May, you're watching for people to get out of position. That is what you're watching for, and that's what you're waiting for. Once that happens, you wall them off, and then the fight's over. Okay? So what do you see? You see Ryan. That Ryan is majorly out of position, but they wall you up anyway. You see how you're kind of doing your own thing? Like you're kind of like you're tunnel visioning on what you want to do and not what the team wants to do. Let's watch this again. What you should have done is walled that Ryan right there because he was in the perfect position under that bridge. He's in the perfect position under that bridge to just put a wall up behind him and then, you know, just kill him. For heaven's sake, dude. Can't figure this out. So your whole team gets shattered behind you and you're like, okay, whatever. And you just continue your nice 1v1 that you're having and then turn around. Everybody regroups. Let's go into 6. You played that fine. We needed to push on that. Much harder than we did. So why did you die there? It looked like you were trying to get extra shots in. You see the fight's lost, you need to back up. You just need to run, press S, back up. But no, you try to turn around and get some cheeky shots in, get stuck on a wall and die. Get up.
That could have gone better.
You use wall here way too late. If you were to wall at any point right here to wall off these two tanks, it would have been fantastic. And Anna's right here too. But you wait way too long. And I don't think you even press it. This is really difficult swapping back and forth. So you guys lost that fight because you just never walled. They were in the perfect position. They were right there for you, and you just never did.
This fight is not over yet.
Serve the barrier. Double time.
30 seconds remaining. Огонь по готовности. 10 seconds remaining.
Let's watch that again. Really good one, by the way. Yeah, you missed the shot on the Mei. And granted your team was dead, but you could have won that. Well, so that one was mechanical. First one so far. Which is good. Makes it easier to coach.
Into the iris.
Initiating. Attacker ready. Ready for battle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Touch from afar.
So what you want to do is you want to wait for them to cross. You want to wait for them to cross either here or here. And then you wall them off. Super easy on this map. Super easy. You can play right here. And then you look this way and you look this way. And you just check which way are they going, which way am I going to wall. Okay, this way, okay, wall. This way, okay, wall. Super easy. They have to run a fair in order to get past this choke point. Or some sort of sniper and pick you off. You just never do. So, where Mei shines is choke points. Okay. Choke points, obviously, you probably know this, but being points. Let me give you an example here. For example, this is a choke point. A point where the enemy has to push through in order to get past on to the objective. Right? A small, confined area that can be controlled by different heroes, right? So Junkrat, Mei, Symmetra, all those are very good at controlling choke points, okay? So what you want to do is you want to control said choke point with Mei. Your team doesn't have to, but you do, because that's your job, right? So if they end up pushing past this choke point, they get all of this open space to play wherever they want, and they no longer are in this tight space, this perfect wall space. If they ever get past this, then you lose the opportunity because of now the walls don't do as much, right? You might be able to wall here, but this wall doesn't quite go far enough. This wall doesn't quite go far enough. This wall doesn't quite go far enough. And it ends up being too long. You're waiting way too long for these Mei walls. And I don't know why. Because you see the perfect opportunities and you just don't do it. And they end up pushing past your area, your perfect area that you need to be, you know, controlling, and then you just completely use your value. You lose your value as a hero once they push past that point. Not completely, but at this point you might as well be playing a different hero. Like, if you're not gonna wall choke points, play something else. Play Reaper, play Doomfist. That's where her strength comes in, and that's why she's good. The T-pose. See where your team is? And how far pushed up you are away from them? You have to be always aware of where they are, and if you don't have your ability to save yourself, then you can't push up. You cannot, or else this is going to happen every single time. And they just collapse on you because you're out of position.
Hey, 我又回来啦。
And wait, that just is this. Let's go to the next one.
Traveling to Hanamura.
This was a much better showing of our team, but we still lost. You wait so long. Like literally, right here, perfect wall. There's Zarya's pushed up, the Ryan's pushed up. It's literally the best wall that you could possibly ask for. You wall off the supports and the DPS, and you get the tanks for free. But you just don't. You just don't. You wait way too long, and then you end up biffing it. I know you tried, and I know that you know, kind of like failed because there's like a small little, you know, a small little ledge in front of you. But regardless, like, it doesn't matter, right? Because you should have done it much, much, much earlier.
Everyone be careful.
So let's watch. You see them coming through. You could do it now. You could do it now. You could do it now. And you wait until they're all into the room. Which is, so you also don't have it for here. Where's your team? Also the question for you. They're over here. They're on the other side of the point. You went on a mad flank behind and onto their team and started a 1v6 for whatever reason. And they're gonna collapse on you because you're out of position. They basically to kill everybody by themselves. You should have died though. This was a good wall. Again, a little bit late, but a good wall.
Double kill. I'm on fire. Team kill. Supports this claim.
Another good wall. That's what I'm waiting for. Great, that was a great wall too. That should happen more often, and it doesn't, and I don't know why. You had block. You had block. You just didn't use it. I don't know why.
That could have gone better.
Yeah, that could have gone better.
30 seconds remaining.
So you see how you dying because you just decided not to use your block, like, was so crucial to us losing this fight.
30 seconds.
So crucial because they ended up being able to push past. They finally were able to push past this choke because you aren't there, and because they aren't there, they take the point. I didn't even realize this the first time we were going through that you had died. You dying and them being able to push the choke point was so crucial there. So crucial.
I have to get back in the fight.
Objective lost. New defense point. Objective lost.
So on this map, you want to play on this bridge right here, because if they come here, you can wall them off. If they go around to here, you can also wall them off. You don't want to sit here, just because you're waiting for them to cross like this, which I guess is fine. But if they don't, you're just like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm useless. Other option being like right here is okay, because you can like drop and like wall here, and you can still wall here from there. But playing here is not an option. I shouldn't have to tell you how to position on every single map. You should know this intuitively. You should think, where are the choke points and where should I be standing to be able to access said choke points. If you're playing Mei without choke points, then don't play Mei. Play something else.
That could have gone better.
You wall yourself on the other side. Wall yourself in the corner when you're stalling.
Ready for battle.
We can do
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A. We strike this once.
My teleporter is online.
When a TP comes out like that, don't even press abilities. The most important thing is to get through the TP. You just wait till it comes out and then just spam F. Just spam the crap out of it until you're actually able to press it.
我又回来啦。
It has to happen as fast as possible before the TP goes down. Why'd you drop the wall?
Teleporter online.
Okay, so teleporter drops. You turn around to wall, you get pinned, that kind of knocks away your positioning, and then you drop it. So that all of this spam damage that they have, they can just freely spam point now. And your wall was blocking it so that they couldn't, but now you just dropped it for whatever reason, and now they can. Again, your walls don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be like these amazing, clutch, perfect walls every single time. They're going to be bad. But you have to make the most out of them when they are bad.
Let me patch that up.
We probably could have won that if Ice didn't die.
Hey, 我又回来啦。That should be better.
I'm gonna put that. I put that on ult tracking, I think. You guys weren't aware that she was gonna ult, and it just wiped you all. You weren't ready for it.
大家都指望着我。Anna checking in.
In contact. What we want to witness. Seconds remaining.
Everyone is counting on me.
30 seconds remaining. Fire at will. Огонь по готовности. 10 seconds.
Can't let them win. Come on, everyone. Let's catch them.
Fine. Go.
Objective A captured.
You don't want to stand still in those windows, or by those windows because of snipers. The heck is that?
Ready for battle.
Oh, that was not what I meant to press. Yikes. Too far. Here we go.
Objective A captured. New defense point. Objective B.
Oh, time to accelerate! I have found the enemy! Come and face me!
Let's see you get past this.
I wouldn't call that ult tracking again. You should know that that ult is coming and either wall it or shift it.
Hey, 我又回来了。
I'd like to point out that Dan just died to whoever is peeking this window, and then you just decide to take a 1v1 with them. For no reason. Like, you could definitely die here, but you just take the 1v1 anyway because YOLO, I guess. Please don't do that.
This will help.
Up the tempo! Move to the beat!
Yeah, Shire just got trashed on. You guys should wall. You should wall yourselves in here.
Move to the beat!
So you should wall her like, oh, wall her like this, right? Because it walls her off from her team, and she can't go anywhere as far as like, you know, around it. Other option being you sit on this wall and wait for them to go through this doorway. But you don't sit here and left click. That's not the play. Again, choke points are your best friend. Choke points is where you shine.
60 seconds. You're going to be okay.
Watch this.
This is my jam.
30 seconds remaining.
Accelerate.
Move it! Bad guys, heads up. Barrier active.
Ice wall coming up.
10 seconds.
Огонь по готовности.
Triple
Good old. Oh, you missed.
You're going to
I'm on fire. Well,
You're just stalling at this point, but the reason your team died is because of the biffed wall. And also, I mean, Twigs also could have blocked it, but so could have you. Okay, next game.
now traveling to Busan. Ready for battle.
Oh, a ton of vision. Nice.
I've sighted the enemy.
You definitely could have played closer to your team. You kind of pushed into a full energy Zarya, which is not ideal. Granted, you probably would have died anyway, but it would have maybe turned out to be okay, and probably would have helped you stall more.
This is my will.
So we've already been over this. Purely a game sense mechanical issue. I'd say it's more a decision making issue because you decided to push right side instead of pushing left side, so you got spammed out.
This.
Even like positioning. You know, we'll put that in positioning actually.
I claim this offense.
不洗澡。不洗澡。
It was a really good blizzard, by the way. Really, really good blizzard. So close. You could have walled her. And gotten a staggered kill. Really bad positioning. You completely stepped in front of your range shield.
I have to get back in the fight.
You're just stalling there, so. Doing what you're supposed to do. Wondering whether this was an ult tracking mistake or a positional mistake. It was a positional mistake for sure. You got really greedy. Looks like I'm seeing a trend. Oh, it was you that killed her. Interesting. Nice punch.
I'll show them.
That was a terrible ultimate. I guess it wasn't that bad, but also for future reference, the only way to kill Tracer is either to guess where she's going to blink or know where she's going to be recalled from at any given time. Recalled to, I should say.
Check this out. Check this out.
You're diving a Reinhardt. You dove a Reinhardt and a Mei. When you can dive like this character, this character, this character. Granted, these two are up on the high ground, but like you can get there. This might take a little bit of time. You already get up here, and then you can shoot yourself up there. Yeah, you slammed into a Reinhardt, and next to him were a Mei and a Zarya. That's definitely not the play. Or the play would be to you go for a punch on the Mei, and then shift E out would be probably the preferred play there. Again, this is knowing who you can kill and how you can kill them. And if you don't end up killing them, what's going to punish you? The answer is freeze. That you also positioned really poorly because your tanks were up above and you weren't behind them and you weren't next to them, which means that you're going to take the brunt of all the damage of the low ground fight if you position like that. Nice. That was just a stall fight, so this really didn't matter that much. It's unfortunate. That sounded cool.
Stay down.
What was the purpose of that punch? I'd argue there was no purpose. Basically just wasted a cooldown completely.
Stay down.
So when you're playing Doomfist, right? So you have your E ability, right? The one that you know side stick slam, right? So if you're on the ground, you can go side stick slam out, right? But so here's the ground, right? Sometimes you can, if you select a slam just while standing still, you do this, right? You go up and then you go down, and then you slam this little cone area, right? But if you are to jump beforehand, it gives you extra height and allows you to go just that little tad bit further, especially on a slant like that. So the fight was on a slant and then it curved out, right? That was bad. The slant and then it curved out, right? Like this. Okay, let me draw this correctly. There we go. So if you were to jump, you get even more distance, right? Because of this curve, right? Do not underestimate the amount that jumping does as Doomfist. Because also your uppercut, if you jump first and then uppercut, it gives you that little bit of distance. Jumping on Doomfist is actually like just so important. It just gives you that extra little tiny bit of extra distance and a little tiny bit of extra height, as well as canceling your punch. So it's weird to say, but jumping is pretty much like the most important Doomfist mechanic. It's really funny. So as we've explained before, what you want to be doing is you want to find a good high position. You want to E off of said position onto somebody, left click them, punch up, left click them again, and then punch out. That's the ideal combo of what you want to be doing. What we're going to be starting to do is on these low ground fights, okay? Where you have an Orisa, two Orisas. So what Orisa is going to do is she's going to halt above and pull some people. And then when they drop to the ground, that's when you punch and try to get a kill against a wall, right? And if that doesn't work, that's when you shift up and E out back to your field. Does that make sense? So it's like a reverse combo. You either E in, shift up, and punch out, or punch in, shift up, and E out. Those are your two options. Punch used to be more reliable back when Doomfist first came out. It was like a massive hitbox, but they nerfed it. So the most reliable way to get kills is the E shift, for sure. You E down, and it pulls them to you, so you're able to shotgun them like once or twice, and then you punch them up, finish them off with your left clicks, and punch out. It is the most reliable way to do it. Easy, reliable way to do it. It's very 1, 2, 3 steps. Ooh, that's cool. I don't know if you knew this, but your uppercut not only launches people up, it also launches them backwards. So it kind of launches them like this, while you just go up and they go like this. So you can actually punch people off the maps with your uppercut. Brings me to that player there brings me to another point of the importance of 180s. So, oh my gosh, I gotta stop that ticking noise. Okay, so the importance of 180s, right? So say you see a target. Oh, okay. Give me a second here to set this up. So say you're up here, right? You're up here. You see a target down here. Okay. They're going to be probably walking forward. Right? So your cone is going to line up like this. Right? But by the time that you reach them, they're going to be past the cone. Right? So let's try to make this less confusing. So there's you two, and they're walking this way, right? And your punch is going to line up like this. And which is ideal, but when they walk forward like this, you're going to want to rotate your cone 180 degrees so it hits them right here. Does that make sense? So 180s on Doomfist are super, super important to just his kit in general. Being able to turn that seismic slam cone to where you need it to be is so, so crucial in his damage because it does so much damage. Like, if you hit somebody, like, it does an average probably like 75 damage. That's a lot. That's a lot of damage. So it's almost half of a health pool of damage that you're missing if you don't 180. Sometimes they're they're gonna be walking they're walking this way instead. And if they are, then this is fine, right? You don't have to 180. You just hit them on their way out. But you have to be prepared to turn any way necessary to where they're going. You just have to be ready. So you got to be ready to turn your camera any way that they might be going and be ready for them to make sudden movements. That's why your mouse speed has to be relatively high-ish and it can't be too slow, or you have to arm aim. One of the two. If you don't, you're missing out a lot of damage and a lot of shields, and I'll show you an example. $49 damage. Do you see that?
Meteor strike.
So there was 3 people here. 1 widow that just jumped out. 2, 3. And you would have dealt 50 damage to each, which would have given you, I don't even know the math, if I'm going to be honest with you, but a lot of shield. Which wouldn't have required you to ult. Alright, let's continue.
You're not getting.
I guess that's more of just ult tracking. You should have known that she was going to grab and not be in the position next to her. He literally went through here. I want to watch that again, actually.
Very awkward.
Personne n'échappe à mon regard.
No one can hide from my sight.
Huh. That's weird. Yeah, you definitely could believe the Mister. So at this point, you see Dan dead, Shawnee dead, and you aren't playing behind your tanks. You're playing in the middle of the point. So your supports are behind you, your tanks are behind you, and you're just running it in. Also, you don't want to. You kind of want to be brawling on point, but brawling on point without abilities is a death sentence. You just have your pathetic little left click.
It'll take more than that to stop me.
Game on.
Double time. Nothing's still out.
不许走。
More ult tracking issues. You shouldn't play in the middle of a team when you know an ult's coming.
This will heal you.
My work is not done. Meteor strike.
We should have won that.
Allow me to.
That grab blizzard killed us. Really unfortunate.
Score 1-1.
Now
Ready for battle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Nice. You put yourself into such a horrible position when you ice block like this. Like, you have to make sure that when you ice block, like, yeah, it's like a panic button, but also you have to make sure that you're in a good position when you do so, because once you get out, you have to make sure that you're behind your tanks, or else this happens. Right here.
Only through conflict do we evolve.
I'm back in the fight.
No chance.
You're currently situated in the middle of their team next to a Mei and a high charges Zarya. Both characters that shut you down very, very easily. I'm noticing a trend. I don't know if you are.
Patched up.
Me out. Securing the point. This objective has my name written all on.
Bad guys, heads up.
Oh, what'd you punch in? Don't do that. What's great about having an Orisa as Doomfist is that you always have a place to go back to and just wait your cooldowns and then do the same thing over again.
Move or get run over.
My will made real.
Mode.
Raising the volume.
Meet your strike.
冻住，不许走。冻住，不许走。
You see, you had punch to get out.
冻住，不许走。
But your greed got the best of you. So use your uppercut, use your... and then you go for another punch. You keep getting caught up of, like, what could have been, right? Like, what if I can do this? What if I kill 5 people? What if I kill this one person? And it's very much impeding how you play.
It'll take more than that to stop me.
Oh, time to accelerate.
Game on. 起来吧。
You end up just putting yourself in such a bad position, and you're so greedy for these kills.
Step right.
You were kind of just hacked and trying to stall, I think, so not really much you can do in that situation. Yeah, you're just trying to stall.
Gonna make you feel better. Up the volume.
冻住，不许走！
Victory.
I want to take you back to... Oh, not there. First fight. Right here. I'm going to explain to you why your positioning and you dying early is so detrimental. And this perfectly encapsulates your play in a nutshell. You think to yourself, what if I can kill the Zarya? What if I can kill the Ryan? It would be so good, and we would be able to win this fight. You play a lot like Rose does in the what if department. You get yourself stuck into a bad position because you're right next to both tanks without any backup. And then you end up dying because of it. Meaning that there's no left click for your team. There's nobody to freeze. There's nobody that can wall. There's nobody that can have the same value that you do or do the damage that you do. So everybody ends up dying.
Only through conflict do we evolve.
So I'm noticing massive amounts of tunnel vision, which is majorly impeding your play. In tunnel vision meaning you have an idea in your mind of something that you want to do, and then you just hammer that in, and you think, I have to get that done, and I want to get that done so badly, and you focus on that one thing so much that everything else just completely falls out of place, and you stop listening to calls, you stop listening to your own intuition of this is bad, and you just go for this one play that you hope might maybe work in some world. But sometimes it does, but often it doesn't. You might ask yourself, well, how do you fix tunnel vision? Well, you have to think to yourself, what am I supposed to be doing? What's my job? And how do I apply said job without dying, right? As we went over earlier, the different combos that you can do, you always have to get out. You never want to go full in against a Mei, because all she has to do is hold left click on you and then you die. However, you can maybe get a punch in on somebody, you can kill somebody with your E shift combo and then get out, right? You can't tunnel vision hard enough on one single individual. It's just gonna get you killed because you won't have any cooldowns left, and then you're just gonna die, right? So focusing on not focusing on a single thing, but trying to focus on what you're supposed to be doing, not what you want to do, but what you know you should be doing, right? Let's look at your list here. So we have most of our points in positioning. So you put yourself into you tunnel vision so much that you end up putting yourself in a bad position, leading to you dying. We saw this multiple times throughout this video, many times. Greed. You get so greedy for this tunnel vision and this plan that you want to fulfill so badly that it ends up getting you killed. Mechanically, you just biffed a bunch of Mei walls that should have been easy, but you weren't able to hit. You tunnel vision so badly that you aren't thinking about the enemy, right? This game is almost like Hearthstone, right? You have to think of your win condition and the enemy's win condition. How do they kill you and how do you kill them? And you completely lose sight of that because you tunnel vision so much. Same with decision making. Your decision making goes out the window because of this one plan that you have so desperately that you want to do. And I think that that's the major flaw of your play, is is the greed and the tunnel vision that you have on just doing this one thing and wanting to do these cool plays and wanting to clutch out. You play so much like Rose, it's unbelievable. Like you you try so hard to do all these cool moves and do all these cool things, but you just can't because it'll get you killed every single time. Sometimes you might clutch out, sometimes you might kill 4 people, sometimes you'll do all these cool stuff, but from a consistence point of view, it's so bad. I hope this helped you understand your play. I love you. You're the best. You're great DPS, great guy. Just you've got to understand your play is massively hurting your improvement and the team's improvement. Okay. All right. So I hope you get time to watch this, and I hope we find a DPS for you to coach too, because I feel like that would really help you. So yeah. Good luck, sir.